started. Then we go live. All right. So just like that, we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special Monday night episode of Impacting Life 24/7. And yes, you notice that there is no music to hype you up. And so I figured, because maybe I was having some technical difficulties, it's all my fault because I should have prepared it sooner. Maybe it's good that we don't have the music so that we can grab your attention from the very first point of this show. Of course, as you know, Impacting Life is a international podcast heard in 31 countries. It's downloaded in 46 states throughout the country and carried on 29 platforms. So we're very, very blessed to have people from all different types, walks of life here at Impacting Life 24/7. You see the books behind me. We talk about this all the time, that we open up to you, ladies and gentlemen, the cathedral of what, Black?
Resources.
A cathedral of resources. And so that's what this is, ladies and gentlemen. This is literally a cathedral of resources. And I am blessed. Mike and I are blessed. We've been in the pre-show with these very, very fine folks for the last 30 minutes. And I am blessed to have in our virtual studios two very, very amazing people. And here's why they're amazing. Because they're taking on a challenge that not only affects the church, though they've pastored for many, many decades, not only affects the community, but it affects every walk of life. And that is this topic of divorce and marriage. And we did a little study tonight. Greg, Mike Black, Chris King, and our guest. We have 120 years of combined marriage together. And so we are delighted to have people that have put in the investment of time and experience. And now they are in a position in their life where they could just sunset and just go on and travel the world. But instead, they've decided that they want to help others tap into the unbreakable marriage. They've written a book about it, and we're so blessed to have Pastor JEEVA and Sulojana Sam. Did I get it right?
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough.
At least you didn't butcher it.
I didn't totally butcher it, Greg, but I'm so thankful that you guys are with us on Impacting Life 24/7. And Greg's already got you guys' contact in the chat. And so we would like to welcome you to our virtual studios. Pastor, what we would like to do, the first thing that we like to do is we like to ask you, how can people contact you? How can they get up with you? Give us some information, how people can reach you.
Well, very simple. Our website is thesams.ca. So because we're the Sams and we're from Canada. And so thesams.ca is where you go and you'll find all sorts of information about us, the details of what we do. There's a place where you can contact us. You can download some free resources. You can book an appointment with us if you're led to do so. So thesams.ca is the best way to get a hold of us.
thesams.ca, and that is a great website. Very simple, gets right to the point, and every website should do that. So thank you so much. And the second question that we typically ask is for you all to tell us a little bit about yourself. I feel like I've been talking to y'all for the last 4 hours. We could probably talk for another 4 because people of faith just connect. So, it's just an easy connection. But give us a little bit of background about you too. Go ahead. You can take turns.
So both of us come from an Indian ancestry, from the country of India, and our family moved to Canada in 1976, and so Canada has been my home. And Sulojana started out.
Yes, yeah, I was born in Malaysia, and then when my father retired, we moved to India. And that's where, we got married. Ours was an arranged marriage. And that's itself is another topic. We'll talk another day. But our parents met first, and then, we got to talk for 15 minutes. And and here we are. We have been married for 39 years. And we have 3 beautiful children, who are two sons and a daughter, and all 3 of them are married recently. And yeah, we are waiting for grandchildren. And so we recently, wrote a book called The Unbreakable Marriage, like C.L. King was saying. And yeah.
Yeah, and I pastored for over 35 years in a major Canadian denomination. And Sulojana has been working for the government of Canada for almost 15 years.
15 years, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really awesome that you guys, especially all the things that I know pastoring, because I've been in ministry for 25 years, and I know being in ministry and being married has its challenges. But tell us about how you got to the point where you felt the need to write The Unbreakable Marriage. I know you've seen a lot in your 3 decades plus of pastoring, and your almost 4 decades of marriage. So how did that all come about?
So it actually goes back to 2010, when the movie Fireproof came out. And along with the movie came a book called The 40-Day Love Dare. And so there was a dare for every day that you're supposed to do as a couple to enrich your marriage. And a Canadian television network, Crossroads Communication, has a show called Huntley Street. It's actually, I found out, was the longest running show period in all of Canada, talk show. And so they approached us and they said, we want our audience, to really take this seriously. But rather than just, introducing the book and promoting the book, we are looking for 3 couples who will actually go through the 40 days of the Love Dare and do a video report every day, and share with our audience on this website. And are you guys game for that? And so at that stage, we were married for 26 years, I believe. And so it was a very unusual request, but we thought, well, that's quite a challenge. As a matter of fact, I think Sulojana feels tricked.
No, yeah, I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready for that.
No, but anyways, we finally, I thought, they were going to interview us for 1 day. And then after I said yes, he said, it's 40 days every day. I said, what? And so in my heart, I felt like, if God's calling us to do, we'll go ahead and do it. He'll help me. And that's what we did.
And it turned out to be a great opportunity. Like we learned some things about each other going through those 40 days ourselves. Right. So even though we thought, we had a good, happy marriage for 26 years, that marriage got even better as a result of doing that. But one of the things that happened in that process was people were contacting us and asking us to pray for them, give them some, help with their marriages and so on. And Sulojana wanted to do it.
Yeah, I felt Holy Spirit saying, this is not the end of it. This is just the beginning of something. Right. And I told JEEVA, I feel like Holy Spirit saying, we need to do something more on marriage. And he said, I don't think so. And he said, the couples will, I said, suck the life out of us.
Because I'd worked with married couples in distress before.
Right.
And so I wasn't prepared to give that kind of attention, to a number of couples. Yeah. So
especially when they are in distress.
Yeah.
Right?
But Sulojana was very good about it. She just, said, okay, if you're not ready for it, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then God, brought me to a place where, I was mentoring some men in business and in the marketplace. And some of them, had difficulties in their marriages. And when they came and said, Pastor JEEVA, you got to help us with the marriage. At that point, and actually the way it happened was, it was like a 2-month stretch where there were either 5 or 6 guys that contacted me and said, you got to help us. And so at that point, it's like, okay, God, I give in. We'll do it.
Right.
And so, but what do we do? That was the next question. How do we go about doing it? We don't have a curriculum. And so we're on a 5-hour flight from Toronto to Los Angeles for Azusa now in 2016.
Right.
And all of a sudden, about halfway through the flight, about 39,000 feet up there somewhere, started getting this download. So I pulled out my iPad, just wrote everything down, didn't know how it was all going to fit. And then when we came back home, after being in California for a few days, it just came together.
Yeah.
And that's how our marriage mentorship was launched. So we started mentoring couples, and God specifically told us at that point, this is not for marriage enrichment that I'm calling you. I'm calling you to pull couples out of the fire. The ones that are ready to go to divorce court, you got to tell them there's hope. And I'm going to use this process to turn them around. And which was a little bit of incredible to believe, but that's exactly what happened. A couple came to us right off the bat, and within 8 weeks, like their marriage was turned completely around, and they were talking like divorce. They were saying, like, did we make the wrong decision in marrying each other? And so it's like, oh my God, like this is for real, this is going to work. And so then we just started, getting the word out, and then pastors found out about it. So we started getting some referrals, and it developed into a bit of a system where we could pretty well use that system with any couple, and they would get their breakthrough. And so 2 years ago, it was suggested to us by our coach, and Sulojana, you can add more to that. Why you wrote the book.
We had some prophetic words given to us saying that they see a book coming out of this mentorship, and see us both writing different people. It's just not just one. So we finally thought, okay, I guess this is confirmation that we need to write a book, and that's how this book came about.
So, hey guys, I just wanted to ask you, what I was most impressed about is that the $50,000 number that you guys had to impact marriages. Can you tell the audience about that and all the good that you guys are doing?
Okay. So what happened along the way, like we were just doing it with a couple here, a couple there, and had a steady stream of couples coming, but didn't really have a big vision for where this could lead. And one day, this Holy Spirit just dropped into my spirit. I want to use you guys to save 50,000 marriages from divorce in the next 5 years. And frankly, I was stunned by that, because I'm thinking the way that we do it, we may work with maybe bring 2 new couples on board a month. And that's only 24 couples a year. Very clearly, we cannot do this on our own. Right. So when we got the nudge to do the book, then God basically spoke through our coach, and he said, this is not a book to establish you as an authority in the field. This is a book where you're going to spill the beans. You're going to share everything that you're doing in your mentorship, so that anybody can pick up the book. They can work through it together as a couple. And ideally, we recommend you work together with another couple who can be like your mentoring couple, so to speak, and they would get the breakthrough on their own, because that's how this is going to multiply. And so personally, we have actually been raising up some mentoring couples that, on our own, that they have been observing us, on Zoom, for example, anonymously, while we're working with another couple and learning how to do it. Honestly, it's the Jesus model. It's the discipleship model. It is. Right? I got you. You disciple people who become disciplers. Well, we mentor couples who become mentors. And that's how it's going to happen.
And also, we are going to work with the pastors and leaders of churches, that we are going to work hand in hand with them. Then they know their church and their congregation where, couples are going through difficulty with their marriage. And,
in my years of pastoring, a lot of times I had no idea somebody was going through difficulties in their marriage until they got to the point of saying, we can't be together anymore.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it's like,
and Pastor, I can just interject here, because here's the deal, and those of you who are listening, this is Impacting Life 24/7 with our wonderful guests, Sulojana and JEEVA Sam. Did I get it better that time?
Yes.
A little better. I noticed Pastor says it fast, so if I say it faster, it might sound better. But in my years of ministry, Mike Black's years of ministry, and of course your decades of ministry, Pastor. Here's one thing that I feel, because we just started doing it's not a jail ministry, but we just have a jail mission, where we have decided to go free of charge into the county jail and speak to the inmates. We just came off the road doing that from last week. And I asked around the room some really tough questions, Pastor. I asked some really tough questions, like who's struggling with this and who's having an issue with that. And those ladies raised their hands. But in church, everything is so right. Look, I got to make sure that I'm good. And, you know, I wouldn't want you to see me, especially even in the leadership positions. Leaders definitely can't have any struggles. And the problem is that I don't know how this has happened over the last 30 years, Pastor, but, you know, we've made church to seem like you can't have any problems if you come there. Right. And you don't talk about your problems. It's taboo. But Pastor, what you're doing, and I'm just amazed. And you guys got to go to their website right now, and you can connect with both Pastor and Sister Sam. And that is easier to say there. Pastor and Sister Sam, right? Did I get it right? But you can go to thesams.ca, and you can get a copy of their book. You can connect with them. These people are seasoned in this arena of marriage. And when I was looking at it, because I can look out my beautiful edifice here, and I can see my neighborhood, Pastor. And if one marriage in this cul-de-sac breaks up, it affects the home, it will affect the school, it'll affect the community, it'll affect the church, if just one in this neighborhood. And so when you talk about 50,000, man, you could save a whole city. But now, do you feel, and we just going to get plain here, do you feel that over the years that marriage has been trivialized? Like, hey man, you just get in it, and if it don't work, just get out of it.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, in the church, we have not done a good enough job of preparing couples for marriage. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm blaming myself, because in the early years of my marriage, of my ministry rather, you know, like couples were getting married in their late teens, early 20s. Like we hardly did any meaningful marriage preparation with them. And then I stayed in the same church for 17 and a half years out in Western Canada. And unfortunately, in that time, I saw some of those couples that I married were not together anymore. And one of the reasons, I'm not going to say it's entirely this, but I started to ask myself even then, could we have done a better job of preparing them for marriage? And now when I talk to my pastoral colleagues, there are very few churches that really invest in couples before they get married, and help them to develop a relationship, in such a free-flowing relationship where when they do run into problems, they'll have the freedom to come right away, rather than waiting until things got really bad. And then, the repair part becomes very, very difficult, especially when somebody's mind is, becomes a closed, like a sealed door trap, or their heart becomes a heart of stone. And so to me, one of the most valuable things churches can do is really equip their married couples and get them prepared for the realities of marriage. Because when you get married, with a romantic haze, and then the haze lifts and you begin to see the warts and the scars, and it's like, who are you?
That is so powerful, Black. Did you hear what he said, brother?
He did. He said it gaze goes away.
Yeah, you said romantic haze, right?
Haze. Is that what you said? A gaze or haze that goes away?
Yeah.
Hey, the romantic mist, the romantic ambiance
comes off.
It goes away, and then he's like, whoa, who are you again?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, get that other lady that was in here. What you doing?
The days of wine and roses turned to vinegar and cactus,
That is so true. And we, as the church, we're speaking from the church perspective, we should not be, we love the world, but we should not be like the world.
Right.
And our statistics are about just as disappointing in the church as they are out in the secular world. Am I right, Pastor?
Yeah. And we're appalled actually at how many couples have been counseled by pastors or Christian counselors simply to give up on their marriage. You've gone too far.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that just appalls me, when we hear somebody come and say that. And it's like, no, like God takes your marriage so seriously. He sees you married for life. And so if he sees you married for life, then he's going to provide a way that you can stay married for life. And you need to find that way.
Well, Sister Sam's, I would say that we need to do a better job of, this is why we need you on this show. In fact, I want you guys to just make plans to come back the beginning of the year. I want to kick off, we might even do a couple night series with y'all, because we've got to make this more, I don't say appealing, but we got to do better in teaching. Cause you know, I live in a town where the average age is like 21, 22 years old. Okay. This is one of the youngest metropolitan towns in America. Right. And it's also the second highest birth rate in America. We live in Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune area, but it's also high in divorce, right? Because these young folks think that it's vogue to, if you don't feel it, just get out of it. So Sister Sam's, we've got to do a better job. Would you agree at articulating the message of longevity in this relationship? Yes,
definitely. You know, that there's two things that came to my mind, Pastor C.L. King. You know, one thing is when we were growing up, you know, we were told, you know, this is how we were brought up. There's no such thing as divorce in our family, and not even in our dictionary, you know, the word divorce. So we walk into marriage with that commitment, thinking, you know, with that commitment in sight, you know, we can work anything out. Even, you know, there's going to be challenges. We look at our aunts, uncles, they were all, you know, arranged marriages, and they, you know, were married for a long time. So that's how I walked into marriage, and I told myself, you know, I'm going to be the best person to my husband, and work on myself. And yeah, that's one thing. And the other thing too, you know, like JEEVA was saying, you know, preparing, you know, the couples beforehand, and also having the advice of somebody more mature, like a pastor, you know, before you start even dating. You know, check with somebody, you know, like we, you know, relied on our parents to pick, you know, my husband for me, because I knew they were looking at things at different level. So, you know, that's one suggestion to people dating here, you know, check with somebody more matured or who have married longer, you know, get some advice.
Including your parents.
Yeah, including your parents. Or somebody you trust, and somebody, you know, lots of children, they don't want to, you know, go to their parents. So that's okay. You know, go to your pastor, leaders, and say, I'm going to, you know, date this person, or I'm dating, you know, what is your advice? So something along that line, you know, it's good to have somebody, you know, more matured, help you make that decision too. It will help along the way. So those are the two things that came to me.
Awesome. Mike?
Yeah, so one of the things that CL mentioned, and I wonder from you guys' perspective how you see it, is that like when you go to church, you know, people don't really share their problems. Do you guys see that when you are talking about it and doing your business in the church that, you know, people are like more open, like, yeah, we are struggling, we do have problems? Do you find that maybe the culture is changing a little bit, or how do you change that culture in churches?
Yeah, well, you know, the one of the things about being in church is that you want to put on your, like we talk about being dressed in our Sunday best,
right?
And we put on our Sunday best, and by the way, this includes pastors,
right?
You're arguing with each other all the way to the church, and as soon as you get there, it's like,
oh man,
praise the Lord,
God bless you,
Lord, God bless you, right?
Yeah. And so we put on a face, you know, in church, which is not our home face. And you know what, like our kids know it. The kids know that, you know, well, dad may be talking about, you know, all this good stuff from the pulpit, but they know how you really live at home.
Oh, they know.
So which is hypocritical as well. And I think I'm hitting somebody's raw nerve by saying that.
That's right.
But that's the truth. And so instead, like one of the things that I learned in seminary, and I have to really give my preaching professor a lot of credit. He said, don't ever give illustrations from your life that make you seem perfect all the time, because then nobody will feel, you know, comfortable enough to come and share their problems with you. Instead, like, let people see, you know, your faults, your warts, tell them how you messed up, and then, you know, how you got back on track. And that's one of the things that, you know, we've we've always tried to cultivate that kind of a culture of transparency, where somebody could come and say, you know what, I can relate. I've had that problem too, and can you help me? And so we really encourage, like pastors, leaders, even small groups, life groups, and so on. And you know what? And by the way, sometimes these kind of things don't come out on a Sunday morning.
Right.
But when you're in a small group, in a
Right.
more intimate setting, where you feel comfortable, and also you know there's some kind of a unspoken contract that everything will stay here, that somebody's not going to spill the beans on you, then you'll be able to confess that. It's the same thing with like pastors and leaders coming to us, because in some situations, if a pastor went and told their overseer about it, about that they're having marriage problems, they could be relieved of their duties.
Yes.
That's right.
And so
man.
they learn to hide it, and then all of a sudden, one day the spouse says, "Forget it, man. I can't handle this
Not even
anymore."
with you, right?
Yeah.
That's powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're blessed. I'm telling you, I knew this was going to be good. I'm going to ask for 5 more minutes on the clock, if y'all don't mind. But Mike, when we talk about our lives, looking at us, you and I got married young,
Right.
and all the stress. Mike and I have such a close relationship. Years ago, we used to live in single wide trailers next to each other. We were so broke, we'd borrow top ramen noodles from each other. That's all we could get, right?
We were poor, man. Back then, we
we're-
were poor.
We're not in that arena anymore. But but the truth of the matter is that it has taken work. And man,
Right.
some of what Pastor and Sister Sams have talked about is stuff I wish I could have picked up along the way, or had along the way. These are things that they talk about in their book, ladies and gentlemen. The fundamental principles, assessing your marriage, shifting the spiritual atmosphere, removing spiritual blockages. Boy, that's good. Growing in communication. That's a good one. Restoring peace following conflict. Going undercovers. I would like to read that chapter. Making time, which is so essential. Marital finances. That's a good one. Boundaries. Celebrate your unbreakable marriage. Listen, and much more. So all of you that watch this or download this podcast, I want you to go and get this book. They can get it from your website, right, Pastor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just go to thesams.ca. Are there any other locations where you have it?
Yeah, actually, you can order it right now from any Amazon website.
Okay.
And on the American side, you can also get it from barnesandnoble.com. And
Barnes and
so Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
The Kindle version is free.
Yeah. Now, those of you who are watching live, we have a bonus for you.
Uh-oh.
If you go on the Amazon website of your country right now, you can download the Kindle version for free.
Wow.
And that's only a limited time deal till Wednesday, because we're running a promotion. But you can get, like access to everything in that book for absolutely no charge if you do it right now, in time.
And what I would like for you to do, if you go download that book for free, because Mike and I are coming out with our books. Mine is almost finished here, and his is in the final stages. Writing a book is its own thing, and I'm not a writer. I'm a speaker. So I looked at your book, and he's got several hundred pages in his book, Black, and I'm just like, I struggled to get to 70 pages. It is my story. But if you go and download the free version, please would you reach out to Pastor and Sister Sams at thesams.ca. Send them a note. They're on social media. Let them know that you saw the show and get that book. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. The secular community would like to trivialize this thing called marriage. And I love that's one thing that I was going to ask you guys. I got my last question, and Michael, get your last question. But the graphic, I love the graphic on your book. And for those of you who can't see it, but you're going to go get it, it's really a unique one of the most unique graphics. I think there's a lot to be said about a good graphic for a book. And their graphic in their book, there it is right there. You can see it on the camera. it is an egg with the hammer shattering. And I would really be interested for you guys to give us some quick insights on why you chose that graphic.
Well, actually, that graphic, the divine download to an mentor of mine. His name is Steve Cassian&Co. And Steve's, has actually helped us to put together our website and so on. And Steve said, God gave me this picture, but he said, you had to bring it to reality. And so we had to work with a number of artists before we could get it the way that, we wanted it to be. And it was basically saying that, like marriage is that egg that is very fragile.
Yeah.
But, the way that God has designed marriage is for it to be unbreakable. And so really, when the enemy tries to inflict a blow on your marriage, it's the enemy that should break. The hammer is the one that should crack.
That's right.
And fly in shards. The egg should remain intact, rather than saying, well, I got too much pressure on me. All these things came against me. And so we cracked up. No, that's not the way that God, we believe, intended marriage to be.
Yeah, if the two of them are a team, nothing, should break a marriage. That's why the hammer, if the egg, it's the couple as a team. And hammer is all the challenges.
Yeah, and our subtitle is how to stand in unity and withstand adversity.
How to stand in unity and withstand
and that's
adversity.
The key. And that's one of the things that we stressed right from the get-go, is that we will work with couples one-on-one where both the husband and wife are willing to do whatever it takes to make their marriage work. Because the power of unity, which is in scripture all the way through, like a lot of marriages, unfortunately, we don't harness it enough. Can I give you a sad statistic?
Go ahead.
I found that over 90% of pastors do not actually pray together with their spouse.
90%?
Do not pray together with their spouse.
Wow.
They pray on their own. They have great prayer lives, but they do not. This is not my statistic. This is, I'm not sure if it's Barna or who it is. Somebody came up with a statistic. And one of the greatest powers you have is the power of agreement in prayer. That when you join hands together and pray together, my goodness, there's heaven, because Jesus said that, right? In Matthew 18:19, when two of you agree on anything on earth, it shall be done for you by my Father in heaven. And that's why, we find that unity needs to be there. And when you stand together, ain't no force on earth, or below the earth or wherever it comes from, that can actually break you up.
And, to tell you the truth, to be transparent, we didn't pray together, in the beginning, early years of our marriage. We learned it the hard way later on, in our marriage, that we started praying together, and the blessings has been, tremendous. Can't even explain. Yeah.
Wow, that statistic has shook me, and I think I need to make some adjustments. Just see, you got to be in the presence of people to change, man. Great people. Mike, what's your last question, bro?
So my last question, just for the audience out there, what practical advice would you give those that are really, struggling? Just, a couple simple things that you recommend, taking those first steps. What does that look like?
Yeah, the communication is a big part. Being transparent, if you're struggling, be open, be open with your spouse and tell them, what the challenges are that you're facing. And don't wait till, things get worse. Start, right from the beginning, and take care of them. And if you still can work it out, then come to us.
Well, don't be afraid to ask for help. And it's not just us.
Yeah.
If you would reach out and ask for help, there's somebody to give you the help that you need.
Go to your pastor first.
Yeah. And one of the things that we find when couples come to us, they're already seeing each other as the enemy. And so instead, what we need to adopt is that there's a real enemy out there, who's out to destroy our marriage. And, if we stand together, like we're not the enemies here, but together we're going to, fight that enemy and make sure that he doesn't win. And so when you adopt that attitude, then, you will do what it takes.
That's very, very powerful. And those of you hello, Flossie, my dear friend, I think I got Flossie's book back here somewhere. Hope you're doing well. So you got a new tea thing going on. So congratulations on your processing of your tea. Flossie is a great friend of the show, Impact Life 24/7. And what I want to say to all of our listeners, to all of our followers, is that we have people on the show by intention. When we first started Impact Life 24/7, Mike, can you believe 3 years ago?
I can believe it.
When we first started, we were just trying to see if we could get the local dog catcher on the show. You know what I'm saying? We didn't care if you just had a pulse. We'll take you. Just come on, please come on our show. And though we are not so big that we think we can't take anybody, but we truly want it to be an impact for those that listen. And I do believe that there is, even if you're not a spiritual person, okay, even if you're not a spiritual person, I do believe that there is an attack on the family, on staying married, because, because of the constant pressures to get more. And then, I talked to a couple weeks ago. He told me that they had the big 4,000 square foot home. They had the dually, they had this. And it was one life event that made all of that irrelevant. They lost it all, but they're still together. So at the end of the day, it was about the unity to not let any adversity, as you guys say, stop them. So what we're going to do to close this show out is I'm going to give the lady gets to go first. And you asked me, why do I keep looking over here? Because there's a huge screen that I see y'all faces, and I'm thinking y'all looking at me, but y'all looking at me over here. So I could see y'all better there. What I would like to do is, Sister Sams, if you would, I want you to speak to the ladies out here, the wives who maybe are feeling almost at the end of their rope. And then when you finish, I would like Pastor Sams to do the same and give a word of encouragement to them. Okay. The floor is yours.
Wow. There's so many things you can talk about. The first thing you can start with is, get on your knees and pray. Pray for your husband. Pray for, I'm talking from a wife's perspective. Pray for your husband. If there are things, you have done many things and it's not working out, God is our first person that you go to, and, trust him. And, Holy Spirit speaks to you, in a whisper. Listen to him. And, whatever he's telling you to do, maybe it's, totally different from what you're already doing. And, do that. That's a good start. Otherwise, like I said, go to your pastor or somebody, that you trust in your family, and ask for help. And, get some advice and work on it. And, the other thing too, work on yourself. Ask God where you need to change. It's not always, we always look at the other person, he's not doing that. He's not. Ask God, Lord, where do I need to change so that I can be a better person to my husband? And those are the few things, that just came to me. Of course, there's so much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like one of the foundational principles that we talk about in our book is that there are no such things as marriage problems, but there are people with their own problems coupled together in a marriage. And so if you attack marriage problems, I just need to learn how to communicate better. I just need to have a better sex life. I just need to handle my finances better. Well, ultimately that's the result you're wanting. But what is the root of that? Like, you really have to get to the root. Yeah. And so my answer is going to be very similar in a similar vein to what Sulojana just shared. And that is humble yourself, first of all, before God, and say, God, what am I doing wrong? And this is a special word to guys and Christian guys. We see quite often Christian men will say to their wives, but I'm the head, honey, and you need to submit to me. Okay? And you know what? And yes, the Bible does talk about submission, and we have actually a whole chapter in there that talks about what that really means. But one of my pastor friends told me one time, he said, husbands need to realize that just because they're a head doesn't mean they have to be a blockhead. in the way that they that they treat their wives.
Oh,
And
man.
so there were times when I had to ask Lojana, and I know, and this is not always easy for guys to do, I had to kind of throw my ego aside and say, Slojana, what am I doing wrong? Where do I need to change? Like, what are you seeing? And it almost afterward, it kind of became a little bit of a joke between us that we would ask that question. But the first time I asked that question, it was very, very difficult to do that. And so humble yourself.
And I had a long list.
That's what I was afraid of. But don't be worried, like, because if you have that level of communication, that's a good place to start. And then, like, this is an advice, both the husbands and wives, be as quick to forgive as you possibly can.
Yes.
Because a lot of problems in marriage, when people come to the point of wanting to, to separate, get divorced, there's usually a huge load of unforgiveness that they've allowed to accumulate, or they've suppressed their anger without asking for forgiveness. And now all of a sudden it erupts like a volcano, and then the other person is shocked. What do you mean? You had all those things bottled up inside? Yeah, no, let it all out. Like, when scripture says, don't let the sun go down on your anger.
That's the truth.
That is one of the best pieces of advice that a married couple can follow.
Ooh, man. So, wow, ladies and gentlemen, we gave you guys some bonus minutes. Oh man, Black, we gave him 15 extra minutes. 15. That's powerful. Well, it was good. And that's one thing we try to be mindful of, even though our show's 30 minutes. When things are going good, we just kind of just let them go. You know what I mean? And that's important for us. So, Pastor, I'm asking that you guys would just look at your schedule for the first of the year and come back, and we will make it an event this time where people can sign up and just be a part of the whole experience with you all, because the content that you have is so rich and the lives matter so much that if we can get together and impact one, then that's 49,999, right? we will just continue to take one off every time we get together. And I believe we need to have this conversation often. And usually when we have great guests like you all, we bring them back. So I'd like to start the year out with you all. And Mike, you got any closing thoughts?
Just thank you guys so much. You've been such a blessing for sharing everything, and just so awesome. And I know that someone out there that's listening was impacted. So thank you, and God bless you guys.
Yeah,
you're welcome. We appreciate the opportunity to share.
Well, this show is pretty cool because when you're finished a little bit later on, just check your messages, because the show will be in your inbox and with all the major downloads to it. Okay, so we do it real time for that reason.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, God bless you guys. Stay safe up there in Canada. And we look forward to having you back on again real soon. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
God bless you. Have a good night.
Guys. God bless.
All right, Mike. So that's just you and I, bro. And man, good to have you back in the studio, bro. I really appreciate you joining me tonight.
Oh yeah. You still recording. So
I know I am. This is the closeout. The music would be playing. Would you please?
Well, what's up with the music? What's up with the music, man?
I think I just have to restart the computer.
CL's fired because you don't hardly ever screw up. You always have the music going good, man.
Where's the music?
What's up, man?
I can hear it in my ears. I know,
that's
man. Fine. But it's because I have multiple tentacles in a bunch of areas, Black, as you know, just like you.
Yes.
And so I unplugged the soundboard and I unplugged the computer, and I was working in another remote area. And these USB devices, when you go thinking you can plug them back in and it all worked fine.
Right.
I should have restarted the computer. That's all. But anyway, man, we're going to do a show in the next week or so about us and our time in the Craven County Jail.
Oh, awesome.
Looking forward for us to talk about that.
Can't wait for
really
that.
has really just changed. It's changed a lot about me, man. Our mission is about humanity. Right. Obviously, we want to make a pile of cash one day, but our mission is about people. And if we miss the mark on the cash, but we make the mark on the people, I think God will make up the difference in the cash, bro.
And our retirement's in heaven, bro. It's not on earth. So
yeah, you for sure about that. Flossie, we're gonna have you back on, sister. Just get with us, okay? please get with us. Flossie, just reach out. We'll have you back on to tell me about Flossie Jama. You remember Flossie, right? Black.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
I love Flossie Jama. And she was doing this turmeric tea, and
Okay.
she's doing it in mason jars and hustling like I'm gonna do my book. I'm gonna do my book like the mixtape dudes used to do in the back of their trunk, bro. I'll be knocking on everybody's door. Well, anyway, Flossie,
we'll just be pulling up in neighborhoods.
I'm saying, like, yo,
what's
dog,
up?
you heard who ate my brownie?
Yeah.
But anyway, so Flossie's used to sell these mason jars of this tea that she made, and now she's got it manufactured in actual bottles, plastic bottles with nutrition labels and the whole 9 yards. Come in a pack of 4. And I saw it the other day. I was just so proud of Flossie Jama, man.
That is awesome, man.
It's good to see the people that we connect with, that they're constantly progressing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so don't be ashamed to start with a mason jar. But don't be satisfied to stay there. Look at Flossie. She bumped it up, and now she's like Whole Foods, man. She's like a distributor now, man. That's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome, man.
So anyway, yeah, we'll call it a night, Black, and it's just really just going to be. I have to restart the computer. That's what it was. But you know what? I usually do all the pre-show stuff, and if I can hear it in my ears, I'm thinking it's good. Right. Until I remembered that I had unplugged everything. What do you think about that couple, man?
I mean, that thing went up. They were kicking so much information, man. I hope people out there were taking notes. I mean, they was on point with their stuff about marriage. They seemed like we are novices, dog. I
felt like, okay, let me just sit at your feet and listen, bro.
Well, first of all, everything they said, I'm like, I've done that. I do that. I do that. Everything they said not to do, I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, Lordy. I'm screwing it up, man.
But you know what though, bro? The deal is that even in our arena, you know, me being 28 years, you being 18 years, right? It's becoming even uncommon for those numbers.
I mean, they were 39 years, so they got some years on us. But you're right. I mean, people just get divorced after a few years, man. They don't bat an eye, man. Right. I mean, even some friends of Camille, one guy, you know, different people, they've been remarried, like one of them remarried, divorced, and remarried the same woman. One of them been married like 3 or 4 times. I mean, I'm just saying, and that's just all your circles of friends have that. No judgment, but right. I mean, you become almost nostalgic if you stay married for, you know, a very long time.
We just don't want it to be like, oh man, let me just cancel this gym membership and pay the little fine and I'm out of it, you know? Right. If it can be. Now, obviously there will be those that will comment to us that they had different
justification or something. Yeah.
And that's an
anomaly.
Right. Yeah. But we're talking about everything being equal. And it's just because y'all are quote unquote incompatible or have irreconcilable differences. Those are the things that I believe Pastor Sam wants to try to save. And I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying, but even him with their cultural experience where they have arranged marriages, man, that's a show in itself. I mean, that is so different from
right, man. I mean, what they talked about in terms of that was heavy. I didn't bring it up tonight because there's a reason for that, but I want to bring that up. I want to discuss that, man. That's definitely. That is, man, that illuminated a whole nother thing to me about culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, man? We talk about that a lot, Black, because you and I are both culture experts. In fact, I think we're culture czars, just to be truthful.
Yeah, culture czar 1 and 2. I mean, we'll go with that. Culture czar 1, culture czar 2. Like thing 1 and thing 2. Yeah.
We are the Darth Vaders of culture. You know what I'm saying? Whoever wants to work for IL-247, they're going to learn what like working for a real company is like, because we're going to have the best culture ever. But you know, when we think about that culture aspect that they brought into their marriage, right? Oh my goodness, what a foundation! You know,
I mean, and they coming in the game saying, our parents met for 15 minutes and said that's a wrap, and then we were married 39 years. I mean. You got people that date for 5 years. Right. They get married for 1 year and they break up. Like what? Right. Yeah. No judgment. Again, we're not judging nobody, man. But, you know, but it's seriously.
Truth is stranger than fiction, man. That's right. Yeah, that's like, okay, you two got to see each other for 15 minutes, and guess what? Now y'all married. Go forth and prosper. but at 39 years later, so you can argue with people's methodologies, but you can't argue with their results, brother.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Ooh, Jesus. All right, man. So since we don't have any closeout music, I'll be talking forever because I don't know when to end because the music's not on, bro. So
It's all good.
I guess we'll call it a night, man. I appreciate you, big dog.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, and have a great night.
All right, you too, brother. We'll talk again.
See ya.